Hi guys, I'm a forester here with another retirement video. It's been 30 days since I worked my last day with the South Carolina Forestry Commission. That's 1 full month. And I think 30 days is enough time for me to form my initial impressions of retirement. So I thought I'd make this video for you and to document it for myself also. Now my impression may change over time. A year from now I might have a totally different impression of retirement. But for right now, this is what it is. So I'm going to do that by asking myself 5 basic questions. The first question is, does retirement suit me? I've heard some people say that they failed at retirement and they went right back to work. Well, I think I'm going to like it. So yes, it does suit me. I think it's much more relaxed. One way you can tell that is by how I dress. So when I went to work, I was always in a button-down shirt. I had khaki pants or dress pants and dress shoes. My uniform now in retirement is a knit shirt, a pullover knit shirt, shorts, and sandals. I could stand up and show you, but you can take my word for it. So it's much more relaxed from how I dress. When I wake up in the morning, I don't have to watch my clock so closely. Because when I worked, I needed to get out of here by about 7:15. So starting at around 6:30, I was watching my clock to make sure I got my exercises done, showered, dressed, and out the door on time. Now it doesn't really matter because I don't have anywhere that I have to be most days, and my day is fairly flexible about what I'm going to get done. So it's not so rushed. I still do a to-do list. So I did that when I worked, and I still do it in retirement. But if I don't get through with my reading or my exercise, different things that I do in the morning, sit down and do my to-do list by 8 o'clock or so, it's no big deal. Some days it may be 8:30 or 9. So the second question is, do I miss my job? And the answer to that, I guess, is yes and no. Yes, I do miss 2 things about it in particular that I could think of. One was just the relationship with my colleagues. So the Forestry Commission is like a big family. It's always been that way since I've been there, and that was 37 years. And sometimes it's a dysfunctional family, but that's normal, I think. And so we have a lot of good relationships, we have a lot of history together, and so I miss that daily communication. I also miss the activity that I was very involved with the last 6 months or more. We were having a lot of companies, for different reasons I won't go into, that were looking to locate in South Carolina. So I had reached out, and we actually were very fortunate. We had 2 major announcements by forest products companies that came here to the state. One makes an MDF panel product, the other is a southern yellow pine sawmill. And so both of those were major announcements that happened in June before I retired. But we also had 2 or 3 active projects that resulted from a trip I made to Germany in May, I believe it was. And so it was a very successful trip, and I just miss out on working those projects, as I know that we may get an announcement out of one of those. So I do miss those 2 things that I mentioned, but there are other things that I don't miss. I don't miss the rigid schedule, a lot of the travel, and all the reporting and everything that goes with the job. In fact, one of the reasons why I chose June, the end of June, to stop work and retire is that that's the beginning of our reporting season. Annual reports, accountability reports, strategic plan reports. One thing about government jobs, there are always more reports to do. Nothing is ever dropped off, but there's always something else, some other report that's needed. So the third question is, how do I spend my time? And the title of this will give you a clue. So it said from forest to front yard. Well, I'll expand that to just the yard. So I'm in the backyard probably more or as much as I am in the front yard. So we've had a lot of rain, and of course there's a lot of sun and heat in South Carolina. This past spring, it rained a lot up until about 3 weeks ago, and then the rain stopped. but it was hard for me to keep up with all the grass mowing and pruning just because of all the plant growth. And I have a big yard, so this lot was originally 2 acres, and I sold part of the back acre to a neighbor, and so I still have about 1.5 acres, I believe. And most of it is in grass, and so I had a John Deere riding mower, but I was putting so much emphasis on walking that I decided, why am I riding to mow the grass when I could be walking here? So I gave my daughter the John Deere riding mower. I kept a Honda push mower, and I mow the grass with a push mower. It gives me a lot more exercise, but it does take a lot of time. But between mowing, gardening, pruning, and then the other thing is our blueberries. So we have a lot of blueberries. I've shown that in earlier videos. But we, depending on the season, we harvest anywhere from 25 to 50 gallons of blueberries every summer. And it usually, picking season is like the month of June and maybe half of July, depending on the weather. So we're right in the middle of that. And I think my wife said so far we have somewhere around 19 or 20 gallons of blueberries picked this year. So that takes, the yard work takes about 50% of my time, and I enjoy it. It's not hard work for me. It is work, but I enjoy it. I guess that's the key thing. The other thing is exercise, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more later, but I've tried to focus more on exercise in retirement because I have the time to do it, and I enjoy exercise. So between bike riding, weightlifting, walking, and swimming. We're members of a club, a fitness center, and so I lift weights, we walk on the treadmill, and we also swim about every other visit that we make. And I ride my bike daily, and I'll mention that in one of the other questions. The other things that have been taking up some of my time is vehicle maintenance. We've had a lot of problems with one vehicle in particular that's taken some time. I took it on myself to try to fix it, and so I made 5 repairs to this one vehicle. It's our Buick Regal, for those of you that have followed the channel. It's our Buick Regal. None of those 5 fixes fixed the problem, and so I finally broke down, took it to a mechanic. I picked it up just about an hour ago, and it's running like a scalded dog right now. The other thing is financial management. So in retirement, it's very tempting to get on the internet any time of day that you want to. You can do it as often as you want. Get on the internet and check stocks. I'm heavily invested into stocks, and I found myself checking the stocks more often than I really should. And it's not that I'm addicted to it, it's available, I can do it, and so I just see what's going on. And I do have some tendencies to do day trading. I've done day trading in the past fairly successfully, and so I did some day trading in this past month, and I will say it was fairly successful. So that's a nice reward for an activity that I've taken on in retirement. And the last thing is YouTube, what I'm doing right now. So I have gone up and down on my YouTube activity, but in retirement I wanted to focus on retirement videos for a while. I'm not going to be making a ton of these retirement videos. I think the next one will be a financial video at the end of July. We're tracking our finances, what we're spending, and I'll do a financial video probably monthly. And I'm going to do that for a while so that we see better what we're spending in retirement. Okay, the fourth question. Number 3 took a little bit of time to answer, but the fourth question is, have I had any surprises? And yes, I have. So one surprise is oversleeping. Like I say, I always prided myself. I always said I can just think of what time I want to get up and I'll wake up then. But in retirement, with the pressure off, I found that I can oversleep. Now I won't oversleep too long. 30 minutes is about it, but 15 to, instead of getting up at 5 o'clock, I might wake up at 5:15 or 5:30. And right now, I feel sort of like, oh, that was a waste. I could have used that time. But I think I'll get over that in retirement. Another surprise is the way that we've taken naps. So I do, like I say, a lot of exercise, and the bike ride that I take is at noon, generally 11 to 12:30, somewhere like that, and it's for about 6 miles. And in the heat, it really gets me down, so it takes me a while to cool off when I get back. And I'm usually fairly tired, and I have taken some naps, so I've enjoyed taking naps. The only problem is generally I feel worse after the nap than before the nap. I don't know if that's common or not, but that's my experience. Um, Surprises. Well, I had planned, looking forward to retirement, of tackling some major jobs. I mean, big jobs that I have been putting off until retirement. But because I've been so busy with yard work and the things that I've mentioned, I have not been able to start even one of those big jobs. So that was a surprise. I thought I was going to knock one out every month. We were planning to start on one of the projects today, and we had some news from our daughter. Our daughter is pregnant, and she's about a week and a half to 2 weeks past her due date, but she did have her baby today. So we put that off, and we're going to be going to see them tomorrow. So I haven't been making any progress on big projects. The last question is, what new habits have I formed? And I think that's an interesting one. So one that I have formed and I look forward to every single day is riding my bike to go get the mail. So instead of driving to get the mail, it's 3 miles away. Instead of driving, I take my bike and I ride it those 3 miles. It's got some steep uphill pulls. Going, there's one really long steep pull that I have to go up. And coming back, I go a slightly different way, and it's 2 uphill pulls that I have to go up. Those really get my heart racing. The neat thing is that I use my Samsung Watch 4 to track my health and my heartbeat, calories burned, the speed of the bike. That's an interesting one to follow, and the slope. So it's been very interesting to track that with this watch, and I can follow it on the phone when I get back and look at all the data. I mean, it's surprising to see, to look at the ride and you can pinpoint exactly where you were at the time when your heartbeat got up to 152 or whatever, and you were in anaerobic respiration. But anyway, so that's been very interesting. I do that almost every day. Not every day, but almost every day. So I've done it, for instance, 4 days this week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today is Thursday. It does wear me out, though. One habit that I've formed that is totally new, because I didn't have time to do it before, is helping my daughter with some of her work. Like I say, she's been pregnant and had her baby today, but I've given her 1 day a week. So generally it was on Wednesday, and so I go over and I help with her mowing and also pruning and taking down trees. Basic yard work there too. So I'm out in the yard most of the time if you see me. I'm going to give you a bonus question. So what do I look forward to doing? Well, one of the things that I wanted to do in retirement was travel more. Now, my wife she's okay with short trips, but she wasn't so okay with longer trips. We've taken a couple of short trips already, well, one already. So for my 70th birthday, about a week ago, we went down to Blackville, South Carolina, to eat at a neat Mennonite restaurant called Miller's Bread Basket. I would recommend that highly to anybody in the area. And then we stopped at Healing Springs on the way back, and I'll put a short clip of us getting some water at Healing Springs in this video. But we're also planning a short trip, probably to the beach, for our 45th wedding anniversary this weekend. But I want to take some longer trips, so some trips overseas, internationally. China just came out. We made many trips to China if you followed this channel. And they just came out with a 10-day non-transit, no visa transit program. 10-day no visa transit program. And so it's free to go over. They're trying to encourage, to stimulate the economy. They're trying to encourage foreigners to come and vacation there. So we're going to take a 10-day trip to China, probably in October, and I'm trying to plan that trip right now. The detail that I'm trying to figure out is to qualify for that no visa policy, you have to go to another country before returning home to the U.S. So if you leave the U.S., fly to China, you have to go to another country. So I'm considering, should it be Japan? Should it be Singapore is one that I'm considering, or Dubai? Trying to look at the options of where we're going to fly from China before we come back to the U.S. to visit another country that maybe we haven't visited. So that's, oh, I did want to mention one other thing. So I will do a video in August, early August, I think, about our finances. So I made a video called the No Budget video. And we're not trying to follow a budget, a strict budget. We could, but I wanted to see if we met our necessary expenses. Like today, getting the Buick repaired, that was a major expense. I'll make a video just on that. But if we just meet the expenses that come naturally, how much are we spending each month? And I don't really have a good feel for that. So we're tracking our expenses. I was going to show you our book that we're reporting those in, or recording those in, and just let you see what it is so far for the first 10 or 11 days. But anyway, I'll do that. I'll summarize that data and do that video in early August. So I'm looking forward to seeing that for myself. All right, y'all take care. Talk to you later.